Hi, I'm Dr. Chris Moore, and I'm the Programme Lead for the undergraduate degree in Biomedical Science at UWE Bristol. And this short tutorial is going to be how to use Power Automate in Microsoft Office to help you with some of those automated features, such as in Microsoft Forms. Okay, so today's example is going to be one that hopefully can help students. It is something to help get information to students, but without putting additional burden on, in this case, me. The context behind this is that I have a centralized university method of collecting and monitoring attendance. And with this data, I am able to download it and collate it and provide module by module attendance spreadsheets. And this gives a total number of sessions attended by each individual student. And I've done this as a tutorial before, which you can see just up there. So you can go to that video if you want to learn how I did that. The reason for doing that is so that I can contact those students who have been absent for a significant period from a module. And what I do is I send them a supportive message that says, we've noticed that you've been absent a lot. We're a little bit concerned. Can you please fill in this survey, giving us an idea as to why you've been absent so much and therefore how maybe we can help. So it's not supposed to be a punitive thing. It's supposed to be a supportive thing. Now, that email has a link to a Microsoft form. Now, I'm lucky that we have Microsoft-based university email accounts, and that comes with the whole suite of Microsoft 365 applications. The survey basically says, and again, you can see, there you go, just up there. And the survey says, please tell us, why is it that you've been absent a lot? To give us a bit of detail. Do you feel that the primary reason for your absence is due to mental health? Please answer yes or no. Now, that's great because it gives me an idea as to how many people are being affected by their mental health and how it's impacting on their studies and their ability to attend and engage and to learn. What it doesn't do necessarily is help them. It helps me know stuff, so I have an idea of the problem. But how do we go about fixing the problem? Now, I'm an academic. I'm not a counsellor. I'm not wellbeing or disability services or anything like that, or a student support advisor. It's not my job thing or where to signpost them. What I can do is signpost them to the appropriate service. But again, academics are very busy. We're not really email traffickers and support service signposters. So ideally, I'm not going to spend a lot of time emailing each individual student that indicates they are suffering from mental health to point them in the right direction so that they might get the help they need, or at least have the opportunity to get the help that they need, because counsellors and things are overburdened and overwhelmed at the moment by the number of people wanting their help. So what I've done is use Power Automate to automatically send an email that's very nice and lovely and supporting, and I'll show you that in a moment, to anyone that answers yes to that question. And now I'm going to show you how. So we're going to jump over here to Power Automate. So we've got it up here, and I access this by logging into my university account, and we have the waffle, as I call it, up here, and this has all of the different apps, Outlook, OneDrive, etc. And down here I've got Power Automate. Now I'm going to show you how the one that I've got, but what we also have is Create, and that's what you would start out with. So you would create a flow, and the flow is largely to connect different things together. So this will be an automated flow cloud, or triggered manually as needed, whatever it might be. So in this case, it would be an automated cloud flow. And I'll show you the process of the one that I've made. So I've called it Mental Health and Wellbeing. I did it by Create. If we click into that, this is the flow itself. And the reason I'm just showing you what I did with the flow rather than how I went about it is just for this one example, as I'm a beginner as well, is I want to keep it nice and simple and just show you an example of how I've used it before I start experimenting with grander ways of doing things. So I chose when a new response is submitted. I chose the form. So I already had the form in place, and here's a whole range of Microsoft forms that I've got for various things, and some of them are legacy. And I chose absence support, which is the form I'd already created. That's the one that's linked in the email that I sent to them initially, just for the fact that they've been absent a lot, not necessarily mental health. Then within that, we have get response details. And so it's the form again, so the absence support, and here I want to get the details the person did. Now the form automatically captures their name and email by virtue of only being available to those with university logins, and therefore automatically captures that. So I say, right, I want to capture their ID because I want to do something with that ID. The condition of that is I want to send them an email, but I don't want to send an email to everybody that completes the form. I want the condition to be only to those people that complete the form, and therefore I have their ID if they respond to this question, and here are the questions within it. This one I want to be, does mental health contribute most to your absence? Please answer yes or no. So therefore the response I want to be is, if you answer that question equal to the word yes, so if yes is present in your answer, then I want them to receive this email. Okay, that's what the condition is going to be. And this email is to the responder's email, which it picked up from here in their ID. And then I just drafted the body of the email. But what I did here is included some web links to some of the specific sections of our wellbeing resource so that it gives them an idea as to where to maybe go and look first and to read through the information. It apologizes up front for saying that this is an indirect email. I'm not doing an individual one, but I also say how important it is to get help and that sort of stuff. So I've tried to be as supportive as I can in the email, cater for the fact that really I am, so there we go. I know this will sound a bit like a fob off, but it's really important that I get you to the right help. So I'm saying I can't help you directly because I'm not a counsellor, but I can direct you to the people who maybe can help you. And I'm reaching out here to try and prompt you to seek the help that you have indicated to me that you need. Now, if we go back to this, and if we just go in here, this is roughly how you do any of them really. So we go to create, automated cloud workflow. We give it a name. So in this case, it was mental health. Now, this is where Power Automate really comes into its own because you're not limited by particular forms. So when a new response is submitted, that's the one that I chose. You can also do when an item is created in SharePoint. Maybe someone gets notified of something when a file is created in a folder. So, please put your exam papers into a folder in SharePoint. And now when someone adds a file to that folder, the person that needs to know will get triggered. When a task is assigned to you, so you want to be notified of that. And that's great for project management and planning. If you, tick that one, we're going to create a flow to ping me a message. So sign in to create, which it automatically does when a sign is set for me. Okay. We can add new steps to that. We can make them controls, which is always a good one to do. So I can pick various categories within that as to whether if the task is dark blue, I want to know about it and get pinged an email. And you can categories and you can add an action. So if it's dark blue, yes, it is. Well, then I want to have, and if we do say email, there we go, send an email notification. So I don't want to get an email telling me something. I want to get pinged a message saying, there's a new task for you. You may want to look. It's, that sort of thing. And you can do loads of this sort of stuff. It just takes a bit of tinkering around. And so what we've got there is a relatively simple, this is very early stage, but in this case, it's a really simple way of taking a specific response on a form and contacting that person automatically, which saves an individual having to do the same email several times, or indeed having to check the form has entered information on it to then manually tell them anything about it. It's a really effective way of taking a simple process, a supportive process, and making the most out of it. And that's just the sort of the starting point. So hopefully you were able to follow what was going there. Sorry if it was a little bit showing you what had been done rather than going through all the process, but the principles are really the same for any task you do through Power Automate. It's got enormous potential. There's a lot we can do with it. The way to go about it, in all honesty, is think, what is it I want to achieve? And then go and see if Power Automate can do it. Don't think so much about what can Power Automate do for me. Think about what you want to do and see if that tool that is available to you has the potential to do it. See you next time.